My mom is demanding the secret recipe that Grandma gave me before she passed away, but I'm holding this secret tight. She is not getting this from me.
My mom hates being wrong. We've always just let her be right, even if it meant we weren't heard. My dad told us that was the best way to go about things. Well, look where letting her be right got him. Divorced. While everyone thought that Mom was a saint, I did not have many problems with Mom, and each problem was always resolved, but this time I could not shut up. She feels that she's the most important family member and is entitled to anything that she wants. My siblings have always yielded for her. For instance, just last week, Mom thought she could tell my sister how to parent, when she told my sister that the best way to punish her kid, who by the way just told a lie, was send her to clean my mom's house for the weekend. I'm pretty sure that there are some laws against making a 10-year-old clean a house like that. I felt it was my mom's way of getting free labor without spending much. I ranted about it to my partner, but I would not dare say anything to Mom. Saying anything will get her attention on me, and I don't need her meddling in my affairs. She has already expressed her disappointment that I left my job as a chef at a very big international restaurant to start my own small restaurant. I was expecting her to at least be happy for me. Everyone else was and expressed their support. The first thing she said to me was this: "Do you know that 80% of startups fail, especially when they're owned by a woman? If I was you, I would focus on trying to get pregnant. Maybe then Ryan will marry you." Then she continued for what seemed like 10 years about how I did not make the best life choices. She did not want me to be a chef. She felt it was a very low career compared to the ones my brother and sister are in. It was thanks to my dad and the only time that he spoke up against my mom that I was able to get a culinary school degree. My mom set me up for failure and did not treat me like my career was real, but my father was the best. He taught me a few cooking tricks and gave me grandmother's old recipe book. That is the book I've been getting recipes from for the years that I was a chef. About a year ago, I decided that I wanted to put my own spin on a pasta dish that my grandmother liked. I experimented with it and got a feel of what worked and what didn't. One day, I decided to introduce it for tasting to my boyfriend, who was mind blown. Where I worked, I decided to try it out, and guys, it became a hit. I also cooked the dish for my family members for various events while adjusting the recipe until I got the perfect one. I felt so good to be praised for something that I created, and that inspired me to experiment with other dishes and stop sticking to recipes so strictly. I've always been a very strict person when it comes to recipes, and the advice I got over the years was to not be afraid to experiment. My dish became famous in our area very soon. In the meantime, I was raising capital to start my own little place. I got a food truck at a decent price, and soon I quit my job and started working for myself, taking my dish with me, and now the problem started with Mother, who detests cooking, decided to co-author a cooking book. For what reason is beyond me. But what I think is that she's a bored housewife and wants to stay relevant. I felt a certain way about it and wanted to tell her followers on social media that this was a woman who could burn water and was acting like she was a master chef. It felt terrible because I do not get that much recognition, but she's a poser and gets engagement on all her posts. My boyfriend thankfully told me to save my energy, instead focus on the food truck. I did that, and soon enough I was able to start a very small restaurant. It was when business was at its peak that my mom started to come around and film content. She was not as annoying as she usually is. If she did not bother my customers, she was okay. Anyways, soon I started to have more people come, and they requested my little special dish, which I named after my grandmother, since she was the one who basically inspired it. One day, my mom visits me at my house unexpectedly. She was acting oddly nice, praising me, and for once saying I was doing more than my siblings. I know I was not supposed to feel good about it, but even though I know how she is, I still chase her approval, and I do not think that makes me a good person. Afterward, she talked only about her life and how great her cookbook was coming along. That was when she asked if I would let her include my recipe in her cookbook. I was taken back. What an opportunity, surely. I'd be stupid not to take her up on it, right? We discussed it over the next couple of days, and I assumed that she wanted to include it in the book, and I'd get full credit. We talked about it, but what she seemed to want to know about was the secret ingredient. I told her straight up that I could share an earlier version of the dish, but I was not sharing the family secret ingredient. I hold that recipe in such high regard. It's the one thing that I can do that no one else can. Some would call me petty for not wanting to share, but the more I talked to Mom, the more I saw it was the right decision. Can you believe that she wanted to buy the rights to my recipe? Making it so that once the book was published, I could not say the recipe was mine. I saw it for what it was. Mom was trying to steal my recipe. It felt horrid that all the support over the past few weeks was not genuine. It was just a ploy for her to try and get the secret recipe from me. She could not let me have one thing in peace. I told her I was going to need some days to think of an answer and decide to consult my father. And no, my dad was not biased. He still respects my mom, even though she does not respect him. Many people think that it's his fault that they got divorced, but I have a feeling it was all her. But back to my visit with Dad, I told him everything that was happening, as well as the offer she made. He said that in the short term, it would help me financially, but if the recipe became a very successful hit, then she would make more money with it and I would not get any credit. He also asked if I was willing to part with something that had a lot of sentimental value to me just over a quick buck. I didn't know if I could. I was so close to my grandmother when she was alive. She was the only one who could recreate this recipe. She and Dad encouraged my love for cooking. When I make that meal, no matter how tired I am, I feel great joy. Now to let my mom turn it into a money-making opportunity when she's never even believed in me would break my grandmother's heart. My dad told me the choice was mine, but I'd already decided that I could not. So I went to my mom's house soon afterward. I told her good luck with the cookbook, but I was not going to give you the recipe, and the secret ingredient is mine. Maybe I'll pass it on to my children, but then she said that she deserved to know the recipe because she's my mom, and she's been getting me more clients because of my dish. While yes, I know that she contributed, I'm sure I paid for her services enough with all the free meals she gets at my restaurant almost daily. Well, she was less than pleased after that. She told me to get out and said that I was never going to be successful and would grow to regret this decision. This was several hours ago, and her words are playing in my head like a piano. I'm wondering if maybe she was right, and if I am indeed gatekeeping the recipe from the family. What if by selling it I can get more money to expand my restaurant? But I cannot let it be her who gets it. It's the only thing that I have that she doesn't have. I fear she will destroy the recipe if I give it to her. I feel so bad that this is what I think of my mom. Should I just swallow my pride and sell it to her? Please, guys, help me out. Let me know. What's up, everybody? Mr. Redito here. I hope you're having a great day. This is a multi-updated story, and guys, if you think the Krabby Patty secret recipe is about to be released, you have not seen anything yet. Here we go, update number 1. I cannot with my mother. Sorry for the late update. I just want you to know how she's always trying to be the center of attention and drama. Every little thing that happens must make it a social media event, right? She's gone too far now, and I will take legal action. So, it's now a few days after I refused to give her my recipe, right? She's been quiet. Scarily quiet. Normally, she'd be blowing up my phone, complaining to whoever will listen about this. Stupidly, I thought I got away with it. Up until I started to get bad reviews on my restaurant's social media page. All the accounts that appear to do this look like spam accounts, but I do not know what to do about it. It's affected my 5-star rating and put us down to a 3. I can't afford this. I'm still a small startup. I know that she's behind this because she basically admitted it. What sort of mother feels threatened by her daughter's success? No one's stopping her from doing her cookbook or even starting a business, if she wants, but she keeps trying to live her children's lives. After my older sister gave birth and started working out, she got very fit. And then my mom decided to get liposuction, even though she refuses to admit it. When my brother bought a house, she decided to redo all the decor in her house. I told my brother and sister about this, and they agreed that she's doing is wrong. They said they'll talk to her, but I don't know how effective it'll be, because she hardly listens to anybody. I feel like starting a support group for all the victims of my mom, because wow, there's always something with her and other people, and if you look closely, you'll see that she's the main cause of it all. I've not been okay over the past few days because of what she's doing to my business, all because she does not know the word no. I talked to my dad about going after her legally, and I'm waiting to hear if he has any suggestions. I will not take this abuse anymore. Okay guys, so the next update did not come out for 2 months, and the title of this next post is called, I decided to take my family on a holiday. Let's see what OP's been up to. After I talked to my dad, he got a lawyer who helped me. Once she was served the warning not to defame my business anymore, she completely stopped, did a full 180. She decided that I was trying to attack her, so she blocked me everywhere and has been telling her friends that I'm not her daughter. Typical of my mom always having to have the last laugh. But this isn't about her. It's about something exciting for once and a positive update. Business has been booming. I got an opportunity. It was such good luck that even today I'm still trying to figure out how I got so lucky. I had a patron come in a month ago. I remember her and her 2 granddaughters. They're from Italy. They absolutely love my pasta dish. They come here before and love the service. As they are returning customers, I made sure that they're served well, top-notch, and everything has to be perfect. A few minutes after they started eating, one of my waiters told me that they were calling me to speak. My heart thundered, as I thought that something was wrong with the food. I'd been having a horrible week, and some dishes were just not turning out the way I wanted. But no! They wanted to praise me. They told me they loved my food and wanted to give me a fat tip. I said, guys, you don't have to. But they said that their plans had changed, and they've been unable to go on a holiday on an island. Then the grandma took out an envelope with 5 tickets to an island in Seychelles for 2 weeks. I thought it was a dream. An all-expense-paid trip nonetheless. I felt like I died and gone to doggy heaven. I was overjoyed and so thankful, but they told me that it was no big deal and that I should just enjoy it. So, in less than 2 weeks, I'm departing to Seychelles for an all-expensive-paid trip, and I'm over the moon. I've decided to take my dad, boyfriend, and sister and brother with me on the trip. I've been unable to keep quiet about it, and to be honest, I've not been to the side of the world before, especially with my financial situation, which luckily is improving. I felt it was going to be years before I got a holiday, and it just landed in my lap, just like that. Mini update. My mom's mad because I did not invite her to the holiday, but I invited Dad. She appears to have forgotten about how she's been treating me for the past few weeks. I don't care that she hates my dad and says he's the worst person in the world. My dad has always supported me in all that I did and stood up for me when I could not. She, on the other hand, has crushed my dreams and self-image more times than I can count. Well, she called me today. I was on a call with her arguing for more than an hour. She wants me to change my decision and feels that I will make it look bad for her in front of her friends if I go on a holiday while leaving her stranded there. I don't care how it looks for her. She cares too much about what people think anyways. I'm going on a holiday with my real family. She just needs to get over it. So, this just happened a few seconds ago. My boyfriend showed me a text that she sent him. She blamed him for my behavior these days. She told him that he should drop off the trip since he's not even really family, and how he's just trying to use us all for money. I know that's not true. Ryan's a good person who has been more supportive for me than my whole family combined. That's not all. She's continuing to type this. On my way. What? Did this woman give birth to me? Sorry, I must go now. If I keep talking about this, I will lose my mind. Update number 5, at the island. So guys, I know it's been a little bit, but I just arrived an hour ago. I guess I would post when I have internet connection once again. Sorry about how I ended the other update. I was on the verge of tears. I didn't want to just leave it like that and forget about it, so I just pressed send. I'm okay now, and my family and I have just arrived at the destination, despite how my mom has tried to stop the trip from happening. The message that she sent that made me break down was her saying that he must surely be cheating on me, because who would want to date a person who looks like me? For context, I was born with a cleft lip. I've had a surgery over the years to fix it, and at first glance no one notices, but it has been a sense of insecurity of mine for many years. I've come to accept myself for it. Ryan fell in love with me the way I look. In the first few days, I was so insecure, wondering how he would want to be with someone like me. Hearing her say that out loud made me retreat into my shell, and I could not leave my room for hours. Ryan, being the superhero that he is, called my dad and siblings, who helped me to make me feel better. They've all cooked dinner, and we're having a family dinner. It was peaceful for once, without any drama, and by the end of the night, I didn't care about her anymore. After the incident, everything was smooth sailing, and now we've just arrived. I'll post when we get back from this vacation. Update number 6, 7 days later. Guys, the vacation was simply amazing. Very, very amazing for more than one reason. We got to bond as a family, didn't fight, and forgot all of our little troubles. It was also great because Ryan, well, he proposed to me. Yeah, he's now my fiancé. We wanted to get married on the island, but that was a bit tricky, so we just had an engagement ceremony. My phone's blowing up with people offering me congratulations. I feel happier than I felt in so many years. Is this really my life, and am I living it right now? I've not told my mom yet. What is there to tell when she's never been happy for me anyways? I'm taking a few days off, then I'm heading back to my restaurant. I've kept in touch with my manager over the past few weeks, and everything seems to be smooth sailing. The great thing is that my mom has not come to the restaurant since we left. I was worried since she is a bit on the eccentric side when she doesn't get what she wants, but so far, she's been quiet. Next update, she reached out to me 2 weeks later. Hey guys, I've been back for just about a month now, and my mom reached out to me a few days ago. I went there intending to hear her out, and under the assumption that she had something to give me for my wedding in a few months. I was not going to completely forget all that she did, but I wanted to see how she was doing. When I saw her, I thought to myself, what happened to you? Because she looked dreadful. She appeared not to have slept in days. She's lost a lot of weight. I asked what was wrong, and she told me that she's been sick for the past month. No one knew, and my stepfather was always away. It was not like he cared. I made her some food, cleaned her up a bit, and we talked. We stuck to safe topics, not once mentioning what had happened between us. It felt refreshing to laugh together for once, and she told me about her neighbor, and he's a very naughty dog. And then she told me that she had something important to talk to me about. She said that my not inviting her to the trip after all that happened between us made her see something. She said that she did not realize just how bad of a parent that she's been until that moment. She said that being alone made her see that hurting the one she was supposed to love was not the way to go about life. She began to cry as she told me about her troubled relationship with her mother. She told me that her mom had never supported her. She'd always shouted at her, and that made her grow up to become that kind of mother. She said that even with my siblings, she'd messed up and seen them as competition. It was getting too heavy for me, and I started to see that maybe I should have been more patient. Our relationship's by no means fixed, but I would like to hope that at some point we can all get to a better place. Maybe if you guys can just drop some tips down below what you would do for mom, my siblings, just to develop a better relationship. I'll update again if anything happens. Thank you for listening. Alright guys, Mr. Edito here. So it seems like there was no post for 3 months, and everybody just assumed the relationship was getting better in the comment section until OP released this exactly 3 months later. Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. These have been the best 3 months of my life by far. My mom gave me the earring she wore on her wedding day. That was my something borrowed. And then something old was the veil that once belonged to my grandmother. I'm not superstitious, but I did want my wedding to go well. And it did. Sort of. Well, where do I even begin with the drama that unfolded? So, my mom, me, and my siblings decided to go for some family counseling. It was very interesting and emotional, to be honest. It felt so hard to be vulnerable in front of her. Because in the past, when she used it against me like a weapon. Dad refused because of issues with Mom, and we understood that. It was a difficult journey that required a lot of trust and opening up. With great difficulty, we managed to start mending my relationship as soon as I gave my mom a formal invitation to my wedding. A couple days before my wedding was my mom's cookbook launch that she did not tell me about. When I asked her about it, she downplayed it and said it was just small and intimate, and she did not want to steal the spotlight from my wedding. But I felt that she'd been working so hard with her co-author who was a chef. I stopped thinking about myself and my wedding just for a bit and decided to go to her book launch, even though I had a meeting with my seamstress at the same time. So, I get there, right? Everything was good. Some people I knew were there, and she was also there, talking to all her fans. I was genuinely happy for her. I'd seen how much hard work that she really put into. Earlier, I had been very judgmental of her, thinking that she could not do it because she wasn't a chef. She didn't see me there. I kept to myself, not wanting to take any spotlight until the time for the speech came. After that, the book signing time came, and I quickly bought a book and stand in line so it would be signed by my mother. I skimmed through the pages, interested in what new dishes I could try, until bam! I landed on the page with my special dish on it. I read through the recipe, which bore a great similarity to mine, but there was no such thing missing. Anyone who tried this would get a tasty but unexciting dish. I realized as I read that this was my recipe but a watered-down version. This was not coincidence. Her name was right next to the recipe. After all we've been through, she still decided to go against my wishes and try to steal my recipe, using a phony. I went straight up to her and told her to sign on the very page where she's written my recipe. Well, she did not show any shock when she saw that, or any shame. She stood there and took the credit for me while my heart was breaking on the inside. I left soon after and ordered my planner to make sure that she has no access to my wedding. I don't want to make a lot of noise on this matter, nor am I angry, I'm just straight up disappointed. Update number 9. I did not take what my mom did lightly. I exposed her for what she did to me. I opened a case against her, of which it was not very hard to prove that she tries to mimic my recipe. It did not help that, to get out of trouble, the chef was working with confession, and she had been given my recipe, stolen from my own kitchen. It wasn't even the full recipe, just guidelines for when I was not there how to cook it. So clearly, while we were on vacation, my mom decided to find her way into my restaurant and try to steal the recipe that I did not want to give her in the first place. I don't know how I keep on giving her chances, and she keeps blowing them up. We made such progress during family counseling, but I do not think that she was being genuine at all during the sessions. It was all a game. Once again, everything was just a game. She did not have one little bit of remorse in the least, publicly proclaiming that I was crazy and she had used my grandmother's recipe instead of mine. However, with the other chef's confession, she now had to give me my share of the sales to reprint the book without my recipe in it. But good luck to her, because she and Larissa, the chef, had a falling out over some things in the book. And not to mention, the book didn't even sell that well to begin with. I got some peanuts for it. But one day, I want to publish my own cookbook, but only when I'm super established. I cannot rush this, as my mom did. In addition to being publicly humiliated, George and Lori turned against my mom, and they do not want her anywhere near their children and families. The rest of the extended family decided not to get involved, but so far, Every family event I've been to has been absent of mother, and I'm glad for it. When I walked down the aisle earlier this week, with my dad giving me away, I felt a sense of peace knowing that that snake would not be here. It might seem to be rather harsh to call one's own mother that, but right now, I do not know what else to call her. She's lied, cheated, backstabbed us far too many times. The worst part is she keeps finding a way to slither back into our lives, and we allow it. But no more. I don't want her near my marriage, I don't want her near my business, or the family that I'll have one day. She's not shown her face since she's lost the case, but the whole town has been buzzing. Her friends who pretended to support her are now the ones talking badly about her. She used to have a very large following on social media, but I guess you could say she's been canceled, as the younger generation likes to say. I find satisfaction in knowing that she's lost all that she has acquired through lies. What's up guys, Mr. Reddito here. So that was all. However, OP came back with one final update, and well, let's see what it is. So there's been so much drama since my last post, and this time I'm not involved. I thought I would add this just so you could have a little kick. It's about my mom, dad, and stepdad, and the reason why my mom and dad broke up. Not long after the drama with the cookbook, our family moved on. I don't know if I mentioned it, but after my parents' ugly divorce, a lot of family members hated my dad, and I did not know why. So, a few nights ago, my stepdad pressed charges against my mom after she poured hot oil all over him. She said she thought he was cheating on her after seeing a girl in his car. Guys, the girl was his daughter. I've never been a fan of my stepdad, but when he confessed that she had been abusive, mostly emotionally, I believed him. When my dad found out, he went pale as a sheet. He said that she'd been the same to him, but he was too ashamed to say anything, so he let her tell people that he was the problem. My stepdad pressed charges against her, and he's currently divorcing her now. Everything is he said, she said, and they've been married for less than 5 years. After he divorces her, she'll be left with nothing. I want to see who she'll turn to, knowing that the whole family's against her now. As for myself and my siblings, we've taken out protection orders against her. We don't want to be dragged into her hot mess that she puts herself in. I feel so bad for my dad, and now a lot of things just make a lot more sense. No one wanted to tell us the truth about why they broke up, because they all blamed him, and she told them to keep quiet. She knew me and my siblings would never believe that because Dad lived with us, and he's never been violent even one day. And you bet, if my stepdad needs a witness, I'm there to help him. She needs serious help in therapy because she's destroying everyone around her, and she doesn't seem to care. But hey, this is the final update, so let me lighten the mood. I've been able to expand my restaurant into the nearby town, and once again, created a dish that's a favorite with the locals. And to think that she set me up for failure when I wanted to go to culinary school is laughable. As people, we all face challenges in life. I just did not know that mine came in the form of my very own mother. No matter what we do, she'll always be very narcissistic. And, well, I guess I'll just live with that.
I don't know why the mother of this story has to be so, quote, extra. Just chill out. She doesn't want to give you the recipe, and then you go and try to partner with a chef to dial down the recipe, water it down, and then put your name on it? I'm not surprised in the end when her husband said enough is enough, and decides to leave her too. Guys, what would you do if you were in OP's position and you're trying to keep this a family secret and you don't want to share? And, well, I don't know what I would do in that position, but maybe you guys do. Drop a comment down below and let's talk about it. If you guys are new here, just know I do videos every single day, so consider subscribing and I'll see you in the next one.